Notre Dame worships two supreme beings, God and football. The first is a man, the second, a sport that's become the greatest money-making force in the entire university, plastered week after week on TV screens across the country. But it's also one of the only sports that will never represent women. Women can lead in basketball, we can lead in gymnastics or soccer, but in football, we won't ever lead because we won't ever play. Football, in God's image and likeness, is a man. Believe me when I say it is hard to be a woman. It's hard to go to Buffalo Wild Wings and be surrounded by TV screens glorifying the acts of men. To see bull riders dressed as cowboys walk alongside women wearing nearly nothing. It's hard to enjoy my wings when the screen in front of me is featuring ultimate fighters flexing their muscles in front of a wall of women in bikinis, on a backdrop to remove your shirt to. It's hard being a woman when you know the girl at the end of the hall thinks it's normal for a guy she just met to be calling and texting her nonstop. It's hard to go into my guy friend's dorm room and see a woman's ass covering most of the wall. It's hard when you start to wonder if your body will ever compare to what you see online and in magazines. It is especially hard if you're a woman of color, when you realize the students who speak the least in your class are you and the other brown girl sitting side by side in a room filled with white. It's even harder when you are the only woman of color and you lose track of the number of times you've been cut off. It is even harder when you realize your voice could matter less, but the color of your skin means it will never matter at all. It is hard to be a woman, but it is especially hard at this university, where my lack of access to birth control is my problem, where wanting complete control and autonomy of my body is seen as immoral, and where a woman, no matter how capable she may be, will never have the chance to call herself the president of this university. At this university, tradition holds women captive. At this university, it is plainly obvious to me that God is a man. God is a man because my grandmother's lack of a high school education was seen as a commonality. He is a man because in the 228 years since the office has been established, not a single woman has been elected president. God is a man because every time a man or a woman stares at the hair on my legs with disgust in their eyes, I feel an overwhelming sense of shame towards my body because the world has twisted something as natural as body hair into a sign of uncleanliness when it's displayed on my skin. God will never be a woman when I find myself thinking twice when I look into a mirror, afraid that what I'm wearing will entice a man to stare at my chest for too long or put his hands in places I never asked him to. It's happened before. It'll probably happen again. God is a man because it takes accusations of sexual assault and rape from more than 50 women to oust a prominent Hollywood figure from his position of power. In the world that we live in, God will never be a woman because men walk on water while women weep at their feet.